Afternoon guys, I'm just doing another update of the Red Sea Reefer 750 XXL. Spent the last few days just putting a few more of the equipment in. I'm in no great rush to get the actual tank up and running, so I'm really kind of taking my time and enjoying it. We've put in 2 of the Vortec Quiet Drive MP40s. Really big fan of these products, used them in the past. Love how neat and tidy the cables are. Also like the fact that the power's out of the tank, so you haven't got that kind of any heat or electricals going into the water. Plus I just think they look really nice in the tank. They look very clean, very simple, not too complicated. I mean, with this tank, if you look at the wide angle on there, you can see you've got a great side profile. So sitting on the sofa, it's going to be absolutely amazing to see the tank at night. So when I scape it, I'm going to really make sure that it's not just a good scape from the front, but also the side. Likewise, my first one I've installed is the Kessel AP700. We've done that using the hanging kit, which was really simple, really straightforward. Great light. I've just used some cable tidies to put the lead through the back of the tank. Keeps it nice and simple. You could paint it in if you wanted. I'm not going to. I think it's a little bit complicated. So that's the first light that we've put up. We're going to add 2 of the Kessel A160s either side of that, just to give a little bit more light intensity, because we are going to have quite a bit of SBS coral in the tank. So we want to make sure that we're getting maximum lighting through there. I've placed another MP40 Quiet Drive just on this side of the tank, put them at opposite sides of the tank to increase maximum flow. So what we'll do now is we'll have a little look through the sump. The sump on these tanks is absolutely amazing. So rather than the 2 filter socks, you've actually got 4 filter socks in there, which is really good because they're fine mesh bags. You can put carbon in there, pretty much any kind of filter media that you need, which is great because that's going to remove the need to have any kind of big reactors in there, which I'm a really big fan of. It's one less piece of kit that you're going to need. Also, the new auto top off area is great. You can literally slide it across the whole tank. So if you've done any type of maintenance, really super easy. Just to be able to move that. Skimmer wise, I've gone for Deltec. I really like this brand. I think they're really reliable, and I've gone for the SC 1660, which is a really great little skimmer. I say little, it's actually quite big, it's quite substantial. It's got the self-cleaning head on there, which is really good, so when it comes to cleaning it, I can literally just twist the head around and it's going to remove all that kind of excess build-up, just increasing the performance. Now with these tanks also, you've got an actual dedicated refugium area which they've put in. So if I just zoom over that there, you can actually see that the volume size of that area is massive. So you can have a really big refugium in there, and you're not really compromising on any room in the front section either, because there's plenty of room there for any kind of more reactors that you may need. So it's really good that they've kind of come up with this design. You also get this great bar here which you can actually move, and it's removable depending on how big you want your refugium, which I also like. Another great aspect is that with these here, you can actually adjust the water height depending on your skimmer. So rather than all the days of raising it on egg crates, literally now it is a simple case of just adjusting it, and you've got your water adjustment there straight away. So it's really good. I can tell with this tank, Red Sea have really thought about the sump in this one, which is I'm really pleased with. In terms of the pump, the return pump, which is in the chamber just here, I've gone for a really kind of top of the range when I wanted to make sure there was plenty of flow in this tank. So we've gone for the Ecotech Vectra L1. Really nice piece of kit. It came beautifully packaged, very good set of instructions. So I'm looking forward to getting that all plumbed in. Pipework, etc. is as so. I've put my DD UV sterilizer at the top, which is a 39 watt. So we're gonna have plenty of control there with that. Decrease the flow through there, so to kill off any kind of white spot in the tank. As we've been such a big tank, I want to make sure that the water is pristine. But it's perfect, literally just mounted at the top of the tank, really seamless and out of the way, which is great. Then the pipework following through here, again you can just move that out of the way, giving access to all the leads. Again, cable ties, so everything's nice and tidy. all the return pumps through there. Again, a really great chamber. I actually decided to use the black trim along the bottom of the tank because I really like how, if I just close these doors up, I like how it looks with the actual cupboards themselves. So you can see I've used the black trim along there, which I think just brings the cupboards out a lot more and it almost makes them look like they're floating. So yeah, a great little idea. The electrical area. Spent quite a bit of time on getting this all set up nicely. So we've got all our surge protectors through there. We've got our controller there for the skimmer. All our controllers for the pump. I have got one of the reefer links, so I'm going to be controlling it all through my iPad rather than doing it manually, which is a little bit easier. But again, really nice that we've got all these, again, heater controller there. So this is kind of the brains of the operation really, and you know, I've spent quite a lot of time making sure that everything's cabled up really accurately and really smartly, and just basically screwed everything into the actual tank itself, which is nice because then when it comes to anything going wrong, you know, it's going to be really straightforward. I've actually got labels for all the equipment which I need to put the stickers on, so when it does come to unplugging anything, I know exactly which is what. None of the kind of routing through leads to see which one is what. You can already see I've already got some goodies here from Red Sea. I've obviously got the Red Sea refractometer, which is actually one of the only ones that is actually designed for specific seawater. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Reef Spec Carbon, I've used that for quite a while, had great results with that. In my opinion, it's the best carbon out there. Really does improve the water clarity. I've got some Sea Chem reef glue to start prepping the rock. We've also got some Reef Mature. I always use the Red Sea Reef Mature starter kit. I'm a big fan of the product. There is a lot of products out there I know that you can instantly cycle with. Call me old fashioned. I like it to be done in slow time. I'm in no great rush to add any fish to the system anyway, so I'm kind of happy for that to work as process. Salt wise, I'm going to go for the Red Sea salt, the reef salt, as opposed to the Coral Pro. With it being a mostly SBS dominated tank that I'm going to go for, the Reef Care program that I'm following, they do recommend that, so that's what I'm going to start with rather than kind of changing any kind of salts halfway through. I want to stick to one salt and literally keep that through the whole time. I've got my little coral nutrition there, which again was a little freebie. So yeah, I mean the tank is great to have this massive kind of area. You can actually see, if I put my hand in there, you can actually see how big the area is. It's really substantial to put any kind of leads and any cabling out the way. You've also got the ventilation in there, which is going to make sure that nothing overheats. I've actually ordered a chiller, so we're going to have a chiller which is just going to go in just in this section here, and then I'm just going to mount a dosing unit on the back wall there, so we've got everything that we need in there. I'll zoom in from the entire sump now so you can get a really good idea of the size. The sump itself is massive. It's like a fish tank in itself. So I'm really, really pleased for that. I am going to install a refugium in there, going to go with the ecosystem. I've used that quite a few times in the past, and I am a big fan of it. And it just looks really nice and clean and seamless when you open the tank up. And I really like the black interior of this tank because it basically hides all the lead work, so you don't have cables everywhere. But again, I do prefer the white cupboard, so it's, yeah, personal choice. In terms of the tank, glass needs a good clean, but not a scratch on it. Red Sea really do make sure that these tanks are absolutely immaculate when they arrive to you. So you've got your overflow all here. Again, nice and easy. Nice and easy to put through there, nothing's too complicated. The only thing I will say is when it comes to lifting these tanks on, the stands are quite flexible in terms of they do move around quite a lot. So it is really important when lifting it to actually lift it and drop it on the tank. Because with the sides here, a friend of mine had the same tank, and where they lifted it and slid it across, they actually tore the foam and dented all the tanks. So when you do these tanks, guys, it's really important to make sure that you've got a good team and really lift it on. In terms of the equipment, that's pretty much it at the moment. Like I say, I'm really pleased with all the equipment that we've got. The only thing, like I say, I'm waiting for now is my Real Reef live rock, which I spent quite a lot of money on because we've got the Real Reef and the plating rock, which again I'm really excited about. I prefer the real reef. I like the fact that you're not causing any kind of damage to the coral reefs or nature, which for me is, is perfect, and that's what you want. Apologies for the reflection, but it is early evening, so unfortunately we're going to get that. But yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the tank progress, and it's going to be nice to have a system where you're not really limited to what type of fish you can have. So I'm glad I waited for this system. The only thing I will say, guys, is was asked about the weight of it and will it be able to go on a wooden floor. Lifting this tank took 6 strong guys to lift this. So my advice would be that if you are thinking about having this on a wooden floor, I honestly, would think again. The video doesn't actually translate just how big this tank really is. I've got quite a big lounge, and actually it pretty much does take over my whole lounge. So if you have got a wooden floor, I really would be, careful as to where you're putting it, because there is a hell of a lot of weight. I mean, the doors alone are quite heavy, so that is definitely something to consider. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the Kessels in action. They're a great light. I'm a big fan of the brand and the company. And like I say, it's going to be a really good project. Sand wise, I've just ordered the Carib Sea Aragalive special grade. It's a slightly bigger grain than some of the finer sands, again, because I want it to be quite a high flow system with the SPS. I don't want to have sandstorms or bare areas in the tank. So again, which is quite nice. The only thing I will say about this tank as a criticism is in terms of the cupboards, they can be a little bit difficult to put in when you first go, because the actual mechanisms aren't that great. So what we've actually done is I've actually put magnetic strips, because sometimes they actually don't close properly, so you have to really kind of work with those. But what we've actually done is we've used magnets to make sure that they line up perfectly, which has enhanced them dramatically, because before that there was gaps all over the place and they looked a bit naff really for such an expensive tank. So that's the next update, guys. Nothing more exciting going to be happening over the next few days. Just going to wait for my real reef rock to turn up and spend a few days getting that scaped out, because with such a lovely area to scape, we really are going to be able to do something quite special with this. And I'm looking forward to getting that done, getting the auto top off system in action, and also basically seeing all the other goodies that we've ordered. It is an expensive system, but I think it's definitely well worth it. And I'd like everyone's feedback on what they think of the way that I've done it, the actual black plinth on the bottom, if everyone prefers that to the white. And it'd be nice to get some feedback from everybody as to what they want. It's my first Red Sea tank. I've always gone for other brands before this one, but to be honest, I think everyone agrees these are, the best tanks out there in terms of what they offer you. So, any kind of feedback on any experience with these tanks is going to be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Cheers.